So today I'd like to share the story of the widow's mite or the widow's offering. Now in the King James Version, mite refers to not the small insects, but those coins which are of very low face value. So let's turn to Mark 12 verses 41 to 44, and I'm going to read from the New International Version. Verse 41. Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a fraction of a penny. Calling his disciples to him, Jesus said, "I tell you the truth, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others." And verse 44, "They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in everything all she had to live on." And there are several things that we can learn from the story of the widow's mite. First is that God sees what man cannot see. The people in the temple, those rich people, they were giving big gifts. They were putting large amount of coins in the receptacle, a place where they put the offerings, and it was making a lot of noise. So people noticed. But the widow, she only gave 2 small copper coins, and when she placed it, it probably didn't make any noise or sound. But God was able to see her humble gift. And the second lesson we can learn is that God does not look at the amount we give, but God looks at our heart. When the widow gave what was probably all the money that she had, it may be little, but it revealed her heart. Her being humble, self-sacrificing, generous, and completely placing her hope in God. And third is how we should give offerings by faith. The widow is the one who probably needed help from the religious officials in the temple because she was living in poverty. And yet she still gave all the money that she had because she had faith in God, faith that God would provide for her needs. I'm not saying today that we give all our money in the bank in the offering basket, but we should give by faith in what's in our heart. So regardless of our financial status, the story of the widow's mite reminds us to be humble. It reminds us not to give because we look good to other people or we give this big amount of money to church. It reminds us to be self-sacrificing and faithful, and that we are all totally dependent on God. So let's take up the offering.